I did have a friend reach out to me and ask me for recommendations on various PCs, and we came up on this guy right here. This is the Beelink GTR7. So I've set this up for the past couple of days, and I've done this everything from productivity mainly, and here are my thoughts on it after a few days.
Yeah, I don't want to give this up yet, actually.
I've enjoyed this device a bit too much. Now, this is geared mostly towards simple productivity, such as web browsers, right? Utilizing Notion, and there's a little bit of gaming specs towards the later end of this video. But here's some baseline specs of this device first off. This features a Ryzen 7 7840HS, which is a laptop-based CPU. It features 8 cores and 16 threads, so it has the capable of handling multiple tasks at once. It also has integrated Radeon 780M, and that's about the equivalent of a RX 570 according to this spec sheet here. But it can get up to about 1080 on medium to high settings depending on what you're probably going to be playing. However though, I have a 1440p monitor, or for those of you with 4K monitors, don't even think about trying to upscale this to high FPS with high resolution displays. And speaking of monitors, it is capable of handling quad displays, but as you can see, I had this thing attached to a 27-inch 1440p and a 34-inch 1440 ultra-wide monitor. Don't be doing that for gaming. On top of the 4 different displays, it does have hella ports. On the front side, it has a power button, the clear CMOS, a USB 3.2, a USB-C, and an audio jack for those of you who still use audio interface directly. The back has 2 USB 2.0s, 2 USB 3.2s, and a port for the charging brick, which is magnetic locking. It's kind of cool. It's pretty cool. It's magnet based, but it's kind of scary too, since it can unlock if someone were to somehow knock it off your desk and you were kind of very not careful about it, essentially. Addition to that though, we have an HDMI 2.1, DisplayPort 1.4, 2 USB 4s at 40 gigabits per second for those additional monitors, 2 LAN ports with 2.5G, and another additional audio jack in the back. This thing does pack a punch for the size and power and its capabilities. Now, primarily on this channel, in the past, I've looked primarily at small form factor PCs and a couple of large tower cases too. Now, this thing next to a tower PC, this is the Corsair 4000D. It looks so cute, right? It's so tiny, right? It's so tiny compared to it. Just look at this thing, right? Like, this is my phone, this is the PC, right? Side by side, absurd. Now let's look at this device next to some ITX cases. This is the Fantex Evolve Shift X, right? So again, much smaller still. And then this is next to the Dan A4H2O. Wait, no, not that H2O. This Dan A4H2O. Oh, and then here it is next to some lemon tea, because why not? I love my lemon cha. All right, so it's not about the size only, right? You need to have the power and benchmarking capabilities to prove it and back it up too. So here it is utilizing the R23 multi-core score. It comes in at 15,464 and the single core score at 1,728. Now compared to my 12700K, it hits around 22,000 or so and 1,939 single core. So there's still quite a gap in power compared to those desktop PCs. But again, this device is rated for 35 watts compared to the desktop one at 125 watts. So you pack a lot of cooling for a smaller size, and I think from a performance to energy ratio, it's pretty great. Now for some gaming. I know I haven't had a chance to play too many games recently, but I have had time for some older games such as StarCraft 2, which is my main go-to. With its default settings, it's set to high. It feels nice and responsive. In 3v3s, it can hit at least 40 to 50 FPS or so. Now for those AAA titles, my game of choice is Control, and it hits about 30 to 40 FPS utilizing the lowest settings on 1080, and with 1440 settings, don't even think about it. And for racing games such as F1 2023, testing this via their benchmark tool, I can hit about 60 FPS at 720 on high settings. But when cranking the video resolution up to 1440, you can get much better visuals, but it only hits 35 FPS, and 1080 isn't much better at 42. So it can game, but it's not superb for it. Don't expect high resolution and fast FPS essentially. Now, running a 3D benchmark on this hit at 3126, comparing it to the estimated performance of 1440 settings. It doesn't seem great for the frames per second, but dropping it to 1080, it's very acceptable. Again, if you want to get good FPSs, you probably want to only utilize medium to low graphic settings on this. So technically playable, but not a great user experience, I'd say. So for the past couple of days, I've used this as my main desktop device here. And I do such productivity things as web browsing, Slack, Notion, and even scripting on here too. This thing is very capable of handling any basic productivity task or a Microsoft type of workload. It comes with an additional 32 gigabytes of DDR5, so latest tech specs, and built in with many Chrome tabs open to your hearts and desire, and won't be worried about it being slowed down at all. Some issues I did come running into while setting this up was connecting my MX Master 3. It felt a little bit laggy at times. That could be due to the interference or this particular mouse, because when I did connect the gaming mouse to this, the Logitech G305, I didn't have any hiccups at all. So when installing various apps and games, I did notice it was a little bit slow, but once it completed those startup tasks, those initial tasks, there weren't any hiccups while utilizing it from a productivity standpoint. Now for a small test of video editing and content creation, here I'm just going to scrub through some video playback on DaVinci Resolve. It's a very, very raw, quick test. It's capable of handling my ZV-E10's output, which shoots in 420 8-bit. For those camera nerds, I'm still trying to learn all that too, so if you know what that exactly means, I'll probably do some Google searching too, but help me down in the comments below. If it can just hurry up and be done. We'll pass this off to him tomorrow though. See ya, dude. So with all that being said though, I do have to hand this back to my friend. I was able to install some additional storage for him into this device, so that's great. It does come with 1 terabyte SSD, or paid for the 1 terabyte SSD upgrade, but you can add up to 4 terabytes SSD on this device too. So let's head this over to my friend's house now.
Honestly, I'm a bit sad to have to give up this device. Yeah, prior to deep diving into like small form factor PCs and PCs in general, this honestly, it's a hit for a lot of people in the market just trying to utilize general office capabilities of the computer. With the form factor of the price, the speed, and the power machine compared to similar spec devices such as a Mac Mini, the extra RAM and storage is huge for me, and having this extra space to add another drive to is honestly amazing. So I'm a little bit sad to have to give it up, but it's time. Yeah, I don't want to give this up yet, actually. I've enjoyed this device a bit too much. Bit here. Oh, okay, all right, okay, you can have it. All right, but yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, check you guys next time. Peace.